The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. And we got to introduce our guest right off the bat here. We got Lauren Maguire from the Kim Perrotti Team, also with Leading
She's
Edge.
so excited to be here.
I've been getting all my emojis.
This.
She loves that.
I love
inviting me.
Some people always say, "Do you want to come on our show?" They go, "What?"
Oh no, this is my jam. This is my jam.
Great.
No, it's the half hour after you do the show, and then you ask if they want to give out the phone number.
Why did I
That's
do
awesome.
that? See, I ask people if they want to do the show. They go, "Do I have to?"
No, then
not
call up and go
mandatory.
Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Oh, I'm busy.
Sure.
I'm
That's
busy.
why I call you every Tuesday on the ride up
make
here.
sure I'm still coming. I've
And
been
you're the
to
host.
show. Yeah, I know.
But Lauren McGuire.
And I get paid to be here, so I'm obviously going to show up.
You're still on the clock, are you?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh no,
are you
we don't
kidding
give her
me?
any salary to do this.
I'm on the around the clock. I'm on the clock
all the time.
24/7.
You're paying Lauren Maguire a stipend to be here today
Yeah,
too, right?
yep.
To give her.
Oh, is that what that check was for?
Yeah. Don't cash it today.
And we got-
Maybe
I'll
tomorrow.
wait till we're on record.
And Lauren, I don't know if you can see, but I know in the studio audience, is Jay out there in the studio audience? Can you wave so
Jay's
so
right
Lauren
there.
can see? There we go. Can you see her? See him at all? There he is. There he is. We knew we could find him.
She brought a support team.
This is why I like Lauren. I asked her at lunch the other day. We had a great lunch with my doggy bag and everything. And
What'd you have?
Oh, chicken palm. I was told.
Lauren,
that-
just tell them he ate every morsel in, 15 seconds? you
15
said?
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
flat.
Nice.
Flat.
That's right.
Yep.
I thought I was on the.
Chewing is way overrated. Way overrated. If you could make chicken parm into a smoothie, that'd be the way to go.
Don't you want to do those with Oreo cookies and?
Yes.
No,
But-
way too many calories.
No, empty calories.
So I
Yeah.
asked Lauren who she uses as a closing attorney.
She said, I know who she said.
She said, Carter Law Office.
That's
I would
awesome.
They're the
use.
best.
That's awesome.
They're the best. I said, anyone else you'd use? She goes, nope, just Carter Law Office.
That's awesome.
So Lauren's going to be on every one of these shows
good.
for the rest of our careers.
course.
Is that fair enough?
You're going to play to your audience in this job,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Absolutely correct.
And we're on Facebook Live with you too, right?
Yes.
You are. Now, all of Lauren's listeners and viewers should, Ryan Carter tells me this all the time, you need to subscribe to YouTube and you need to like and comment on us, right?
Right.
Is that right?
course.
Am I got those tech
Yes.
terms
Well,
down pretty good?
When we look
Am I
at our
good?
numbers every month, they keep going up and up and up, and we have
We wonder why.
25,000 hits and X amount of downloads, but we still have a very small amount of subscribers.
On YouTube.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So people
Yeah.
watching it, but they're
But they're not.
committed.
They're not. They're
But
not.
Lauren
committing
hasn't
to
been
us.
on the show yet. Now it's going to
Yeah,
go through
yeah.
the roof.
Right.
So
See
we're
what we
all
can
set
do
now.
here.
A lot of people I know are afraid of commitment.
I know,
A lot of people.
and they should be.
And they are-
should
yeah,
be.
for good
They ought
reason,
to be.
sure.
Sounds like you just had a Mother's Day event or something
We
like
had
that.
Mother's Day. We had a fine Mother's Day.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't screw up at all.
You did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Stewie didn't screw up either.
Yeah, that's
My
good.
kids were great. They were nice to me
That's nice.
for the whole day.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
don't.
what
then
I did?
Monday.
You know what I did? I tried something very unique. I actually listened to my wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was Mother's Day.
Yeah, and it worked out.
was it painful?
No. I found it very freeing.
Yeah.
You did?
I had made a reservation at a
Oh,
restaurant.
it's freeing to you
Yeah,
because
I had made a reservation. She goes, I'd rather just have a home-cooked meal. Gus was around my son. And
Yeah.
So I go, okay, I'll cancel the reservation. I'm not married to this. And we had a nice...
Were you looking at her when you said that?
Yeah.
I'm not married to this.
No.
So you had fun.
So it was a good day.
Did you say what restaurant? You don't
They-
wanna say?
Vinny's.
they didn't
Vinny's.
go.
Oh,
No, they didn't
love.
go to.
We didn't
yeah, see,
go.
you're not listening.
Yeah, we didn't go.
You're not listening.
She didn't want to go.
See, this is the thing.
Right.
What's that?
You're acting like. Don't laugh at him, Lauren. That's one thing. You cannot laugh. Stone face.
I went to a very nice. I splurged for this Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Prince Pizza on Route 1.
You.
And I know. I don't mean to show off, but we've had a very good year. And I did have a reservation, too.
Nice.
I hope you have your business card in the check. Right? You're going to drop that everywhere. You want that clientele.
Exactly. We got that clientele.
Then you can write it
You've
off.
had a very good year, so you take him to Prince. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Rick subscribes to my attitude, which is when I got it, I throw it around.
You flaunted a little bit. I said, come on with me, everyone. We're going to Prince.
Keep a little something for yourself.
But we got a lot of real estate to talk
Oh,
about.
sure we
I'm
do.
still
We always do.
About me at Prince?
Yeah.
That's southbound on Route 1,
Southbound
right?
Route
You've
1,
been
not
there,
to be
right?
confused with northbound.
Have you ever been there?
Have I?
Yeah.
I have chaperoned kids' field trips before.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a big hit. When they bring out the giant pitchers of the soda that they don't get to have at home, and then everybody's drinking and it's spilling everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I did that day.
You know, they
for
have a
Mother's
fine
Day.
comedy club there.
I've
Really?
heard. I've never been, but I would love to attend a show
You should
sometime.
come sometime.
When is
Hook
Tony
up
V
with
going to
us.
be there again?
I don't know. I just took a couple of dates there.
Well, that's not much
I
for
don't know.
a
Well,
we can know.
self-promotion.
We'll know on
We'll
Facebook.
find out.
Yeah.
It'll
All right.
be on
They're
Facebook.
very
Can
well
we invite Lauren and
publicized.
Jay?
Of course.
Can you still say Jay in this
he's-
flood of people that we got?
he's-
All right, there he
He's
is.
very unassuming. He's in the back.
So next Tony V concert, we're going to have these guys at, all right?
Sure.
All right.
Concert.
Yeah, it's like a concert with
Like
him.
a concert.
You're like mesmerized when
I've
he's
never
doing.
heard you sing.
You haven't? He sang with the Beach Boys.
I
We're
did.
getting way off
No,
track.
I actually have
Lauren
heard you
said she
sing, but
wanted
not
to do a
at
lot.
giggles.
No.
Lauren has a lot of her listeners, listening in right
All right,
now.
so let's get to.
So we
let's
got a
get to
lot of
it.
information. All right, Lauren, this is where I want to go with today.
6 minutes and 48 seconds.
That's not
in.
bad.
All right,
That's
so
not
let's get
bad.
it done.
That's not bad. Lauren, I'm hearing a lot of stuff. Let me preface it, and I know we have a lot of brokers in the audience, and everyone raised their hand with brokers. See how many people? Yeah, thank you. All right. And I'm not just saying this because we have a ton of brokers in the office, and we have Lauren, our new best friend, with us today.
Yeah.
But there are some big companies out there trying to eliminate a broker. So I'm seeing through Zillow. They're
Well,
trying
the first thing I said to him when he said that that's what we're going to talk about, I'm like, that's never going to work.
It's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fear. We just actually
Right.
talked about this at our Monday meeting, how
Yeah.
we are going to combat this. But,
Yeah.
I think that there's still going to be, you can do your taxes online, right? People are
Right.
going to use TurboTax.
Right.
They're going to do the taxes
Right.
online.
Right.
But there's going to be the people that still want to trust a human.
Lauren, you can
Yeah.
you can probably pull out your own tooth too if you wanted to, right? Am I right?
Yes, I guess.
Am I right?
Listen,
Am I right?
you can get go online and get it.
Yeah, do it yourself.
DIY anything.
Right,
Anything.
right.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm not going to change my oil in my car.
That's-
I'm not going to
that's
work on
kinda
the
my point.
carburetor.
Right.
If I'm selling my house or buying a house, I'm calling you
Lauren.
guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys are the best at it. Like, you guys know what to do. You know what the
And we know companies are
industry's
trying
like.
to list houses and sell it online.
Well,
now,
how would you eliminate a broker? I mean, what
what they do
step
is
are you skipping?
they have a whole pool of houses now on, and I believe it's Zillow, right?
No, we don't
There's a
like
couple
Zillow.
We don't like Zillow,
We don't
right.
like
Hey.
Zillow.
Redfin,
Hey.
Zillow, there's a couple other companies that
Yeah.
are popping up.
20% of the time they're right within 80%.
Right.
Well, have you ever noticed if you list your house, so look at the Zestimate before you list your house,
Right.
and then look at the Zestimate after you list your house, and they will change that. Because you
Really?
know why?
They're
it
idiots.
wasn't a real estate agent that went out and
No, you're
looked
right,
at the
you're right,
house.
right.
So they
Right.
just use all of this data, and then they
Right.
crunch it, and that's all fine and good, but they didn't see that you did an updated master bath.
Right,
or
they're,
you
right.
they're
let
not
the house
inside your
deteriorate.
house.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just kind of based on the area that you're in and
It's
whether
some sort of algorithm that they're using,
Yeah,
which
it's
is all
not
fine and good.
real.
Algorithms seem to be the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to get to the algorithm.
I don't think we can ever.
I'm getting to the algorithm.
You let me know how that works
I'm
out for
gonna
you because
I'm going to hunt those algorithms down, and they're going to
We need a
feel
meme
my
for this.
wrath.
I
Slay
know.
the algorithm.
I'm
Yes,
going to get on
let's.
my dragon and burn them.
it's like the Facebook algorithm, right? Like when like people try to trick the algorithm because if you have 500 friends, only the same 30 friends you can see
Right, in your newsfeed.
in your news feed, and you're like, what happened to my other?
Well, I just assumed they
400
unfriended me because they didn't want to sell their house with me. So
I only have one friend. I have you. That's who I
That's it.
watch.
That's enough.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
Wow.
I've been
Yeah.
called enough.
Yeah. Those algorithms on Facebook do work because they track out what you're interested in.
Right.
You know.
It's crazy. But so they're using an algorithm that we don't know how they figure it out. But it's,
so how they skip it is Zillow's getting this big pool of houses, and they're saying if you want to just contact us directly, and they started this in a few cities, then you can just call us to list you. But now they're doing it for buyers, from what I understand, whereas you can cut out the buyer agent. So I think we're here today to say there is a lot of stuff a broker does as a buyer's agent, as a seller's agent, that you're not going to get online, right? So,
well, yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, and in dollars and cents, what you're saving, you're probably going to lose in what their foolish estimate is.
Well, exactly. And I think a lot of it, too, is just the consumer doesn't even know enough to know what they don't know.
Right.
And I always say to my clients, you can climb Everest on your own. That is fine. You might get there. But let me be your Sherpa. Let me get you to the top.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I do.
I like that.
I'd like to have my own Sherpa just all the time.
You should put that on your card.
Yeah.
Let me be your Sherpa.
No, but that's Lauren's. That's Lauren's.
She's got it
all. Copyright there.
No one's stolen any ideas off of this yet.
Right.
So, but
it's all right. Take it, own it.
No,
it is your own.
Nope, that's yours, Lauren. You come up with your own, Tony.
You know what?
I want a Sherpa, just in general.
Okay.
That's my guy Eduardo. That's what I want.
Lauren is Tony.
I will be your Eduardo.
No, you wouldn't like it.
Maybe I don't want to be your Eduardo. I don't know Eduardo.
Eduardo's only job is whenever I just go, Eduardo, he hands me a lit cigar. That's his only job.
Eduardo.
You know,
wherever I am.
Lauren has one. Kathy has one too. Is Anita?
Anita.
Oh, yeah.
I need another drink.
I was at the Bahamas. And our waitress's name was Anita, and it was like all inclusive. And I'm like, Anita. I need another drink.
That was not her name.
It said it on her name.
It is now, Lauren. It is now, Lauren. So
she regretted putting her name tag on that week.
So here's an example: staging a house.
Yeah.
If you just think you're some seller calling in, all right,
list your house on Zillow.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's some expertise to the staging, I would imagine.
There is so much that goes along with it. And I always say the market is a living, breathing thing.
Yep.
And, an algorithm can only be so accurate. But we as agents, we're feeling it. You have to trust your gut. You have to know what's going on.
You guys are in the pulse of what's going on.
We are in the pulse of what's going on. We're in the trenches. So, knowing exactly what is happening and being able to sense it, once all the information gets out there, it's too late.
Right. No, I agree. So some of the things you're sensing is what's going to be acceptable to an offer. I mean, depending on if it's a seller's market, mortgage financing or home inspection, not that we'd ever say to waive those, but you're seeing what clauses in an offer is going to be accepted by certain agents.
Plus, she's a human being that's dealing with another human being on a level of a phone call. You know what your clients want out of
I would say 90% of what we do, and I think all the brokers out there can probably attest to this, is 90% of what we do is we are your therapist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We are listening to
you. You're holding their hand.
We're holding your hand. We are listening to your concern.
Lauren, I'm not listing a house this week, but can I call you? I've had a long week.
You know what he does? He does. I need a break.
You're not going to
She won't take my calls anymore.
I can't take his calls anymore.
She'll only talk about her stories. Am I right on that?
Let's go to sidebar for a few minutes. So I have been a catalog for 30 years, right? And for 30 years, I've been doing the same damn job, right? But now he's complaining. He's like, I can't believe.
If we have any clients listening right now, you're not giving them a real warm and fuzzy feeling.
It doesn't matter. You've already made them all go away, the last one.
I'll help bring them back for you guys.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. But so my point is, we deal with minute details all day long, every day. And some of them are big, some of them are small, but most of them can be fixed or worked through.
And to note, probably even before the client knows that they're a problem.
Right.
Because you're a human on the other end and you're able to put the lid on the fire before the client even knows what's going on.
I'll call you back and then you fix it.
I told you Lauren Maguire was good. Did I tell you this or not?
But so
I hate to give false expectations.
Excuse me,
Go ahead.
I'm talking.
Go ahead.
Kathy, I'm listening.
So, but what Rick has seen in the last couple of years is the purchase and sale agreements. Everybody wants them reviewed, sellers and buyers. But that's a kind of a new thing. With maybe 1 out of 10 closings, right? Our buyer would want us to review the purchase.
I've only worked in the last 2 years out of the 30 years I've been at Carter Law Office. Is that what you're saying?
So now he's like, I can't believe like the little details
Tony, you know
that are
that's
going
not true.
into reviewing this.
That's
and
not
like,
true. Tell Lauren how I
welcome
saved.
to our world. La 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 la. I've already heard the story a million times.
Tell Lauren how I saved your family $76.
$76.
Yep.
There was $76 due us, and Rick Carter fought for that $76.
Tooth and nail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to pull a fast one.
So did you take him out to Prince Pizza after that?
I did.
And got money back.
Change. I got change and everything.
All right, so back to Lauren. This isn't all about you today, all right?
No, it is.
So,
It's always
It's always about me. I didn't know I had to share the all about today.
We can share it.
Okay.
so my point is, I think there's a ton of things that
That Lauren will do
Lauren
that a
could do
computer can't
that-
do, or a
exactly
computer
right.
algorithm
Exactly.
can't do.
You know, and algorithms are not, infallible. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I've been getting a lot of Facebook ads for yoga pants. And I don't know where that came from.
how do they track you
I
on
don't
that?
know. This is what I'm saying. There's a glitch somewhere.
Yeah, have you been...
No, I don't wear yoga pants.
and you haven't been Googling
Yes.
them.
I have not.
Have you been Googling them?
No. No.
Are you sure?
Sometimes my phone does things that I don't know.
Yeah, it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone.
The butt
All right.
dial.
Yeah, your butt dial yoga
Yeah.
pants. That happens. Depending on what butt's in those yoga pants.
And then you start saying, boy, I might look good in those. And you've
Yeah.
ordered a few yoga pants. All right.
Why can't I feel pretty once in a while?
So comfy.
Yeah.
Lauren's saying is, how many clients am I gaining
What
today? How many am I losing?
What time am I leaving? So let's go through the living.
All right, so let's talk about staging for a
Okay.
second. We don't have to go crazy in this. We've talked about staging before, but
we love staging.
I love
though.
staging.
It's my favorite subject.
You know why? It's
Yeah.
because there's a lot of psychology behind it. I like the fact that I guess what we're headed to is, say you have a staged house, and the market is, I was talking with Jay earlier, and he's saying the Melrose market is still very hot. But some markets might not see this where houses are selling that weekend, and they might have to have that staged house for a few weeks. And how do you live out of that staged house? So maybe we could talk about what staging is for a couple minutes. We love staging.
Or the
I'm a big
degree
fan.
of staging.
Yeah, I think that's important to note because a lot of times when I bring up staging to clients, they think I'm bringing in a company
Right.
and we're going to set everything up using, fashionable furniture. 90% of the time, staging is using what you have in your home.
Yep.
And more often than not, staging is decluttering, packing, purging, getting it out, moving furniture around, working with the flow in the house. Sometimes we'll take furniture from one room and move it to the other.
Yep.
And we also have a company that we use that comes in and gives you a consultation. So if you list with
Who's
us,
this? The Perrotti Team?
the Perrotti Team.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
have somebody, Cozy Chic. They're fabulous. So when
Cozy
you-
chic.
They're
I like
fabulous.
that.
So if you list with us, then you do get a complimentary staging
Oh, really?
consultation. And they're able to come in and give you some ideas. And a lot of times staging is suggesting different paint colors.
Yeah.
Suggesting, okay, why don't you pack and purge this furniture? Why don't you move this from this room? It's just using what you have.
So you're usually with them when during
Yes.
the staging consultation,
Yeah,
right?
and then if the client felt like, okay, this is something that I see value in, I could hire them.
Yep,
They can do
yep.
everything.
But you could do staging for minimal amounts of money, right?
Minimal amounts of money. And
Yep.
then a lot of times, we'll evaluate the property. If it's in a vacant property, sometimes we will stage it because properties that
Right.
are staged, whether it be just us using what you have in your house or having a company come in and bring in furniture,
Sells better.
they will sell better, they will sell faster. And I think one of the mistakes people think is, well, it's not going to bring me any more money. Well, time is money. So
Right.
if your house sits on the market for 22 days instead of, getting an offer within the first 7 days, time is money.
Well, statistically, staging houses get more money, sold quicker,
Absolutely.
right?
Because you need to sing to the buyers. And what do
Right.
buyers want? They want to
Right.
envision themselves as a nice, neat, organized person when they buy the new house.
Well, because you're cutting out the look beyond this mess. Like try to
Exactly.
envision yourself here. But if there's stuff everywhere, or
It's hard to envision that.
Is
And
this
they
why
wanna-
you take out a lot of the photos and things like that, the family photos?
I do. I take out a lot,
Yeah.
but usually because people have too many. But I think it's important sometimes to leave some of the
Oh, that's a
photos.
good
Although,
idea.
can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We
so
usually don't like to laugh on the show, Lauren.
Yeah,
but
we're very serious.
so
about our
stop
real
laughing.
so I do this showing. And
Yeah.
we go in and I have these buyers and I've been working with them for a while. And we go into the house and the house is looking pretty good. It's checking most of their boxes. And I could tell the husband liked the house a little bit more than the wife. And they're looking at it and everything. And as we're getting ready to leave, the husband turns around and does like a triple take at the picture on the mantle.
Oh, boy.
And the wife goes, "Who is that?" And he goes, "That's Jackie."
Some
Who's Jackie?
ex-girlfriend?
"That's Jackie?"
An ex?
Jackie.
An ex.
Jackie was an ex-girlfriend. So I was like,
I think it was an ex.
I said, so,
Yeah, we hope.
So we're
That's
not
what he
buying
was
this
saying.
home? Like, no, we're not buying this home. I was like, all right, on to the next. So I do think in some cases, maybe it's important
Better to get rid of
the pictures.
Jackie might want to drop the pictures, depending on how many people she's gone out with.
Yeah, but you might have headed off a real beef at the closing.
That is true.
If Jackie
when
ever
Jackie
showed
shows
up.
up
No,
and
that's
she's
a
like, we're
good
buying
point.
Jackie's house.
Humming.
Can I get my deposit back?
Right.
Wow, was I uncomfortable when?
When?
Is there
Yeah.
anything in the purchase and sale that protects that?
Yeah.
We'll have to write that
No,
line in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
See, that's why
ex-girlfriend
you
can sell the house.
That's why you got to review them. Make sure there's no exes hiding in there.
Well,
That's
I'm going
funny.
to tell you our one picture story. So at the closing, the broker went over to the closing attorney and said, I know all the pictures on the mantle, and the guy's supposed wife that he's bringing is not the girl that was on the mantle. He was bringing the fake wife to sign for the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to
So she was
defraud his wife.
Right. So
His real wife.
So she was. He was. The broker was very smart. Went to the closing attorney and said, told him, and it was one of these Boston law firms.
Right.
And so he shut off all the elevators. And I guess at the end of the close, said, "Can I get your licenses?" And the girl freaked out. Said, "You told me this wasn't going to happen." And she darted to the
my
elevator.
God.
And,
Couldn't get anywhere.
Couldn't get anywhere.
Now, is that
Yeah.
Can you get arrested for that?
It's
Yeah, fraud.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Fraud.
Well, now, what would have been what would have happened had they gone through with it? Would the real wife gotten screwed?
Yeah. She would have lost all her money.
Even if it was fraud?
There's a lot of legal issues to that.
Right.
Let's start with the obvious. Someone should get owner's title insurance for that reason.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go. Start
There you
there.
go.
Sure. We've done a whole show on owner's title insurance. You got to have it.
The buyer has to have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the real wife's going to have a nice lawsuit against
Right.
the husband.
And we're going to have to add ex-girlfriend insurance.
And we're
now.
going to put that in the purchase and
Yeah.
sale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So should we tell
I was thinking about owner's title insurance today. It does solve a million problems.
I know.
Like if I went home now and my wife Kristen had sold my house with a fake husband, I have no recourse. I mean, I'd be
Well, you could
I'd be
sue-
fine with it.
you could sue
I'd be in
him.
Aruba by tomorrow afternoon.
But you wouldn't have
and
any
get
money.
my crack legal team on the whole situation.
But it could take years to get
I
your
don't
money
care.
back. Right.
You ever been to Aruba? You can walk around there for decades.
You'd be
With a-
calling into
yeah.
our team and say, how are we doing
How we
on the
doing?
lawsuit?
How we doing? I'm about to turn over so I don't burn.
I'll call you on the next
Yeah,
turnover,
sure.
right?
But I mean, would I have no legal
Oh, yeah,
ramifications?
no,
you
you
would.
I
definitely.
but
You would,
Oh, yeah.
but it would open up.
it'd be
It's, it's like
It's
having
uttering.
your
crap
identity.
storm.
You have an
Yeah.
uttering case.
An uttering case?
Uttering.
I'd be uttering.
Not a
I'd be
muttering,
uttering-
not a
I'd be
muttering.
uttering
Not
a
muttering.
lot.
We don't usually like to do legal terms on this real estate
I think
podcast, but
uttering
uttering
is
is a
like
thing?
muttering, but uttering is a real word.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
put a
yeah.
glossary at the end of it.
Uttering is just no. I think uttering is just louder muttering.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's
but
what
then
it is.
Rick told
It's
us
extreme,
uttering
yes,
is
yes.
Something to do with a cow.
no. I don't know what. I don't know what is it again. I
it's a
forgot.
fraudulent cow. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Fraudulent cow.
Signing on
God.
behalf
Right.
of your wife.
When you
All
go
right,
near
right.
their udders and they go, "Hey, get away from those."
Then you're muttering.
That's muttering to the udder.
Okay.
You guys are uttering. Let's get back to the show,
Yeah.
will you? Lauren's got a lot of Facebook listeners right now.
No,
For
she-
God's
What does
sake.
it say? Leave for the first few
No,
days.
let's
The
just-
listing is active.
Oh, yeah. So,
Oh, okay, yeah. So we can talk about that. So if we've listed your home
and we've staged
and
it.
we've staged your home, and now you're living in a home.
Now, do you
that
really
is-
take out all the wardrobe out of the closet so it looks like they're half full?
This is what I tell people.
Yep.
Are you selling your home? Yes. Are you going to move the stuff out of your home? Yes. Okay, well, let's start now, because 90% of the stuff in here you don't need.
No, you're right.
So I always encourage people, and first of all, I should back up. I would never tell a client to do something that I haven't done. I've bought, I've sold, I've bought investment properties, so
Yep.
I've done all of it. I bought a
Yep.
house that didn't have front stairs or back stairs. It had an active leak in the roof, and we weren't able to live in it for 6 months. So I've done a lot.
You've been there.
I've been there. So I'm
Yep.
not going to tell anybody to do something that I haven't done. The last house that I sold, my kids were little. My son was 2. My daughter was 4. So we had little kids living there. We had a lot of stuff. So I got a pod. We just put everything in, and we
Good
just
move.
kept what we needed. So we
That's
kept
good.
about, we knew that we were going to be displaced probably for about 6 months. It was a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
But we kept out what we thought we needed.
Were you
and
a
then-
broker at that time, or just?
No, I was actually
Smart.
getting my license
Okay,
at that time.
all right.
Yep. So we put all the stuff, in my parents' house that we thought we'd need
It's a
for the
smart
extended
idea.
time. We put everything else in the pod, and then we had a huge yard sale. So we got rid of so much stuff.
Because
So
you know how many sellers fight that issue?
it's so hard because they're like, but I'm going to need this. Okay, well then pack it away and you can get it at the new property.
Right.
So it's hard. And you have to manage different emotions and
Yep,
you have to
yep.
manage different personalities. And a lot of it is just treading lightly and understanding that this is a very stressful situation.
Right.
It's like the curtains that you made in 1987, right? And
Yes.
Right.
you take them down and replace them, and you put them in a drawer, and you think you're going to use them somewhere else because you made them, right? And then at some
Exactly.
point, you have to come to the realization that you're never putting them back up, and
Right.
it doesn't matter if you spent all this time making them; they're going.
They're going.
And you as a broker have a hard, you know what I mean? It's hard to tell a seller that.
It's hard. Well, and a lot of times what I'll do is I just try and manage the personality and I just try and
That's
manage
good.
the expectation. And sometimes what we do is I will bring in my organizer. I work with Kathy Vines, clever girl organizer, and she's fabulous. She has a nice way of helping people and saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what you're going to keep. A lot of times she'll say, put things in a box and you can keep everything that's in this box.
Yep.
So
yep.
sometimes it's just having somebody else tell you what you need to do.
Plus, you're right. If you look at all your stuff in your house and stuff that you've been used in 6 months, either pack it up.
Or not even 6 months. If you've moved stuff into a basement, into an attic,
Yeah.
and you haven't been up in that attic in 15 years,
Right.
You don't
my
need it.
guess is that you don't even have to open those
But then
boxes.
you look at it and you're like, oh, I liked this.
Right,
I remember
right.
this. And then you touch it. You have an emotional connection
Right.
to
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. So what I do is I try and get people to get everything out. So
Yep.
then you have minimal things to maintain and care for.
Yep,
So if you're
yep.
living in your staged home, ideally you're going to have an offer after the first weekend
Yep.
on the open house.
So you only have to live with it for like a weekend. right?
Hopefully. If you hire me and my team, you will probably get an offer after the open house.
Lauren
If you
Maguire of the
didn't hire me
Kim,
and my
Kim
team-
Perrotti
yeah.
team, right?
And if you
Okay.
didn't hire
Good
me
luck
or my
to you.
team, you might not.
Right.
I'm just telling you right out. Any one of you go near my Molly Hatchet mirror, there's hell to pay.
You can keep that.
All right.
If it fits in the box.
And that's
All right.
it. That's all you can keep.
That's all I need.
Tony, would they be flirting with disaster?
They would be flirting with.
Ed
They'd be,
Sullivan, nice
they'd be
job.
heading down the road, Ed, flirting with disaster.
Lauren, Tony wants to stage the house with fake wives and neighbors and family members.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make it more homey.
Okay.
You know, like the family you get in the wallet when you buy a wallet? You have them living in the house and greeting people, and then the neighbor comes over with an apple pie. Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. Well, we haven't bought yet. Oh, we're so happy to have you.
And it's not one of the real neighbors.
Right, no. It's just you hired them. Right.
Hey, that's a strategy.
Yeah, it's like
we use strategies all the time. Maybe we'll use that one.
You should use fake stage cars in the driveway. So
Of course. You put
Okay.
a vet in there. You know what I mean? You put a nice classic car.
I
What
thought
if-
you weren't supposed to have any cars in your driveway during a showing.
I would prefer not, but let's be honest. You have to pick your battles.
Right.
And if it's
Right.
somebody, and if they're going away too, I mean, I would. So here's
Plus,
the
you
other
don't
thing
want the
is-
sellers at the showings either.
Oh, God, you
they
don't
got
want
to be
the
long
sellers
gone.
Listen, if it's a 91 Tercel, no. But if you could get a 67 vet in your
All right, yeah,
driveway
that's a little
and there's a
different.
guy
Fair enough.
involved, that house is being sold.
But you are right. You guys are right, though. It might personalize the house a little bit that you have a 67 vet. I would love it, but I might forego the house and try to buy the vet.
Vet,
You know
sure.
what I mean? So,
And I would just be like, oh, look at this old car.
Right,
see?
right.
You know,
We've talked about this
Because you're
before.
not-
Don't say
guy.
that about a 67 vet.
no.
We've talked about this before. We did a closing for one of the basketball players, and that was the thing that threw him off. He cleaned the whole thing out, but kept a lot of his trophies in the house. So he had a whole trophy room, and you could tell it was his house. Everyone knew it, but it seemed like it was his house, and it's hard to.
And it always would be his house.
It always would be his house.
So you need to make sure that you don't have it too personalized because you
Right.
want the buyers to envision themselves living
Right.
there.
Right,
But for
right.
the sellers, if your house is all staged and you're ready to go, and we do the first, broker open house on Thursday and a commuter open house on Thursday night, a lot of times what I'll say to people is, "Can you go someplace? Why
Yep.
don't you make a vacation out of this time?"
Anywhere other than just go away.
You're so
Go.
nice, Lauren. It's a nice way to say, get the hell out.
Especially if you have little kids, because
Lauren,
just
we
really
had
stressful.
we had this one husband, and we read, I forgot, online or whatever, and kept telling his wife they were having open houses, so she'd clean the house, get it all ready for the
And
open
then
house,
leave.
and she'd go out. Lauren, I'm not promoting that. Don't look at me like I came up
But
with
he
that.
liked the idea.
I'm just saying
We've
that's
heard
what
it all.
happened. So yeah, so she
So his wife thinks the house is on the market.
for 8 years. When is this house going to sell?
Hey, it's a strategy that works, right?
So we got the house staged, and there are certain thoughts that we thought about a little bit, where how to strategize with that staged house, and I think you're starting to hit on some of them.
Well, when I sold my house, I would have the kids eat in the car. It was terrible. I would make breakfast. I would get them in the car. I say, all right, let's go. We're going to go eat in the car because it was just too much to
clean up.
You're right.
And-
That's on
yeah.
our list.
And it's like you have to understand it's a short-term inconvenience for a long-term satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's on our list because you don't want to
So
be cooking stuff and all of a sudden the
No.
stove, everything's splattering.
And you got to
all
get the dogs out, right?
You got to get the dogs out.
Because I remember
Let 'em
driving
out.
around my neighborhood, and I'm like, they're still there. They better be putting an offer in right now because my dogs around and around. We went there probably like, who is that crazy lady driving around 2 dogs? But it is a stressful time.
It's stressful, and you just have to set the expectation. I try to set the expectation that, okay, this is what's going to happen, and then most people, if they know the expectation, they can live up to the expectation. But most people get disappointed when the expectation changes.
Right.
So if you tell them it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be inconvenient.
No, that's actually a great point.
What if you can get the dog sitting at a card table playing cards, like in those pictures?
with the fake neighbors.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
Yeah.
They're playing poker.
Right, like if people walk in, there's the dogs playing poker. You go, hey, this house.
Yeah, our dog would fit in nicely
Yeah,
here.
that'd be great. That'd be sweet, wouldn't it?
Look at Lauren stare at him like.
I don't even
That's
know.
what,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
come
Tony.
back to that one.
That's what Tony does. That's his role here is to make real estate kind of funny
I
because there's nothing
spitball.
funny about it.
I spitball.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out
Yeah.
there. I'm not saying you have to.
No, you
I'm
don't
just
have
saying,
to.
wouldn't it be great if you could?
Tell Lauren about the time we had Joan Lepore on that ran the home health
Oh
care.
yeah. So we had a friend of mine on that.
Still a good
Joan.
idea.
Is not a friend anymore, but up to that point,
No,
she was
she
a friend.
is.
Up to that point, she runs she has a health service, keeps people in the houses as long
Home
as
health
possible.
care, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And-
Elderly,
yeah, exactly. So
which I am, by the way.
yeah, we're all
yeah.
getting there. So Tony came up with the idea to have them all in bubbles.
And bubbles. You
Like
know
a-
the
like a
balls?
bubble ball.
You know those big.
Because she kept talking about the elderly hurting themselves.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, we
And
just
she's
put them
just
in
sitting
bubbles.
there
Paul.
like,
You know those big hollow
Yeah.
balls that people bounce off of
Yep.
each other?
that's what he wants to
once
do in
you
the nursing home.
If you make it to 85, I think if you go out in public, you should just be in one of those.
But don't you think they'd have to extend all the walkways and all the doorways?
I'm not
I just
saying
He
know.
didn't think of that.
It's
He
not
doesn't
without
know.
problems.
Put a lot of holes in your
This is
theory.
why you need Lauren when you're selling a
Lauren,
house. She
I'm
thinks
an
through
idea
it.
man. How it gets implemented is not my concern.
Not his problem.
I'm just saying.
It's a great idea.
You're elderly, you fall, you just roll.
So we had poor Joan staring at me like, you
And
got me
then
on the
Rick-
show.
Then
This
Rick
is-
asked her her phone number, and she was like stuttering. And then at the end of the show, Rick goes, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I don't know about the bubble idea. I don't know if Joan liked it." And he goes,
So I start
and
calling
then
her
she
because I know her
doesn't call-
well.
She
so-
doesn't call him back.
and I'm not kidding, like 4 or 5
You're going to
days.
need different home health care. I guess Joan's not going to be taking you on as a
I
client.
hope I never get
yes,
elderly.
she is, and she's going to put him in a bubble and roll him down the street.
So
Right, Joan?
After,
You know-
after the 5th day, she finally answers my call. She goes, "Oh, I apologize. My phone's been in the trunk." I don't know who's ever had a phone in the trunk for like 5 days. Should I buy that?
But
or
I've
not?
seen her since then, so we know she's talking.
No, she's talking
Yeah.
to me
You know,
now.
the
so.
horseless carriage was a bad idea until everyone had a car.
Valid.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying get on the cutting edge. Be the first.
You don't have to stick up for your ideas. You've
I
come up with
know.
some
Love your
great.
ideas.
They're good
Tell
ideas.
Lauren about your other idea about
Which
the FICO score.
Yeah. You know, people got to go. You can.
So, Lauren, if you had any clients still left after the show, this should nip it in the
This
bud.
is-
And we
this
might have to
Jay
end.
doesn't think it's funny at all.
We might have to
Best
end it right
idea.
now.
No.
He's no longer going to be in
No.
the Kim Perrotti team. He's jumping ship.
One more. Come on.
All right, so we got to
let
set it up. We got to
Okay,
set it
okay.
up. So we had one show
Sorry.
and we're debating. We had a credit analyst on.
Yep.
And we're seeing, how hard it is to get credit scores up and how it goes down, and it's hard to monitor it. So we're saying, too bad it was in a nice way that we could come up with a website or some sort of idea on how
one website
that we could monitor our credit scores on our own,
right?
As opposed to calling the lenders or calling, So we were trying to think of a way to come up with a way to check our credit scores.
Something called Credit Karma.
Yeah, but how about this one?
No, this one's better.
Go FICO yourself.
You better buy the URL.
We own it. We own it. Oh, yeah. We haven't done anything.
So when Rick called to reserve it,
the
guy goes, now what's the name?
And I felt bad. It was Tony's idea. So I said, I did it quickly. So I said...
I never would.
Right. So I called Network Solutions. I said, you know what? I did it really quickly. I want to get in my buddy's name who came up with it. And he says, okay, that's not a problem. What's the name of the website? I go, well, go FICO yourself. And he said, excuse me? And I
You heard me.
I don't know how to say it any other way.
He didn't laugh. He didn't think it was funny at all.
It was like silence for about 20 seconds. I go, all right, there goes
Still
that.
the best idea I've ever come up with.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
I agree.
So, Lauren.
See, Lauren agrees.
Lauren.
Are we wrapping it up?
Yeah, we're...
Okay, I want Lauren to tell... I want to talk one more thing.
Okay.
So, someone was telling me about, someone is flipping a house or whatever, and who cares about the yard, or who cares? And I said, I think that's just as important, because Rick has a stat on here. Front entrance is important. The buyer may make up their mind in the first 30 seconds.
I have
of seeing the
brought buyers
property.
to properties, and they have gotten out of their car and said, nope. Mm-mm.
Wow. Really?
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's your first impression,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You need to have a good first impression. And it blows my mind that anybody would sell a house without just trim the lawn, do some edging, do some mulching.
Rake your yard.
Rake your yard, fix what's broken, make sure that, the front door actually opens.
Get Uncle Al off the lawn.
I showed a house once, and I
Get
opened
Uncle Al off the lawn.
Get Uncle Al off I opened up the screen door, and it almost came off in my hand.
Yeah.
I was like, either take it off.
You're right. Someone's going to
Because
say...
you're losing a whole bunch of people walking through that door.
Right.
Or that aren't going to walk through that door based on a
someone
street
says
view.
they can't get a screen door done, they're not taking care of the rest of the house either. I'm not even going to bother with it.
Right.
Exactly.
Curb
So
appeal.
that's what I want to
It's about
leave
curb
our
Lauren, would you like to give your phone number out?
617-750-5263.
Yeah. There you go.
Say it
She
again,
gave it.
because Rick was talking.
Another convert.
All right,
Say
go
it
ahead.
again.
617-750-5263.
Nice.
I told you we'd love Lauren
Yeah.
Maguire. I feel like
She's
selling my
breathing-
house right now.
She's breathing
I'm selling it right now.
a nice
Well, you know what? I
energy
actually
into
already
our
have
show.
a yard sign on your front yard, so we can sign the contract.
Why
at the
should-
hall.
All right.
So,
Why
Christine, you
she's
better
been
start.
here.
If you're watching, you better start cleaning.
Why she's been here, your house is sold. She's that good.
She's that good.
That's awesome.
We have 3 offers already. Oh, wait, 4.
Bing, ding, ding, bing. Thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Lauren.
thanks for
Thanks
That
for
was
having
awesome.
me. This was fun.
All right. Thank you, everyone in our studio audience. Appreciate all your help.
Thanks, guys.
Lauren Maguire here at the Real Estate House Party. Kathy Holtshouser, the Paralegal Extraordinaire. Shut up. Shut up. Tony V, what I put up with. Tony V, thank God you're here. Thanks for joining us in the Real Estate House Party. We might see you next week. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.